with pupil and teacher. Paul Mainieri, Ron Maestri. The love. You can see the love. Game 2. What was it like last night to go up against each other?
Well, first of all, it was Valentine's Day, and I was going to bring him a rose and give him a kiss when we brought the line up, and he said, "You better not." No, it was great. I mean, you know, he's special, and you know, what an atmosphere. You go up there, they got the second largest crowd in history. You're playing a great team. You got arguably the best pitcher in the country. So it's all positive.
I thought it was a great ball game. You know, at the end of the day, Eric, you know, I'll be glad when these games are over because, you know, you just don't like to compete against somebody that you feel so strongly about because obviously losing is no fun, but you don't really gain any joy out of winning the game either because you know the other guy's hurting. So I'll be glad when these 2 games are over, I can root for the Privateers the next 54 games.
During your 2 years playing for this guy, what do you remember as far as what kind of a coach he was, and what did you learn to kind of take into your years as a coach as well?
Oh, this conversation can't last long enough for me to give you the long list.
We can do a whole segment.
Oh, let me tell you. First of all, he was really tough. You know, about half the time you didn't like him very much, okay? But you always knew he had your back, and you would have run through a wall for him. I've never been around a person that could create such loyalty among his players as Mace. We all, you know, just loved him to death.
For me to say, you know, everybody's going, yeah, you knew he was going to coach. I knew he was going to coach, and you knew he was going to be successful because he did all the things you need to do as a player. And many times you're going to get an athlete that's a great athlete, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a great coach. But yeah, good person, did all the right things, outstanding student, and he was. No, he was.
They were believing you until that last.
See, I just nudged him a little bit.
Let me tell you something, Eric. Okay, when I played for Mace, I was the worst player on a really good team, which is a great feeling to be. Mace put me in the record book. You see, I broke the NCAA record for the most consecutive games batting 9th in the order. And I always said to him, I said, Mace, how come I always bat 9th? He said, well, you're not really any good, you know? So I learned a lesson a long time ago about being honest with players.
Folks, we're not talking about years here. We're talking about decades since you were last in that dugout as you were last night at the box. But pitching changes, pinch hitters, close 2-0 ball game. It looks like it was like riding a bike. You were right back into that manager's mode.
Well, let me ask you something. If you retired tomorrow, and in 2 years or 10 years from now, somebody came back and asked you to broadcast, you know what to do. And my point is, everybody wants to make a big deal out of, well, the game has changed. Well, the bats are deader. He hit and run. He could bunt. We did those things when he was playing. And, you know, it all comes down to you got to pitch and you got to play defense and you got to do the fundamental things of the game. And I just, I don't think there's anything that, I don't know, maybe I'll fall asleep in the dugout, but it's not that I don't know what's going on.
Eric, let me tell you something. Mace was a consummate promoter when we were playing for him in the 70s, but he was a great game coach. I'll tell you, he stressed the fundamentals. You know, we put a lot of pressure on the other teams with the hit and run and stealing bases. Everybody in our lineup could hit to the opposite field, and we took pride in being tough to strike out. On defense, we made the routine plays, and our pitchers threw strikes. And you know, he made a career out of just emphasizing the fundamentals of the game. And if you play the fundamentals well and do them consistently, you're going to have a chance to win. And that's the same philosophy that I impart in my coaching, and I learned it from this man many years ago.
Well, you learned it from your father too.
Well, yeah, but at the, you know, my dad was a very aggressive coach, you know, and he liked to see your guys swing the bat. But Mace taught me that every player should be able to utilize his strengths and hide their limitations, you know. And I knew what my limitations were, and he made me feel that my role on the team was so vital, even as the 9-hole hitter, you know. And but you know, I took pride in being in that position because he made me understand how everybody's role on the team contributed to the team's success.
You play the game with respect because I know that's what they do. I go up there last night, people give me a standing ovation. My wife's in the stands, people are coming up to her. That's what you aspire to, and that's what we're trying to teach these kids. They had it when Paul was at UNO, and I think these kids, they went up there, they were respectful, and that's what we're going to do.
Let me tell you something, Eric. These kids don't realize how lucky they are to have this man be their mentor. Now, you know, we thought he was finishing, we thought he had finished mentoring young people because he retired 28 years ago, but these kids have soiled under a lucky star to have his influence. I think about him. Before I came down here, I used to think about Mace every day of my life. I kept a picture on my desk of Mace. That's the influence he had on me.
Guys, we wish you the best today and continued success for both of you throughout the season. Thank you, guys.
Can I give him a kiss now?
I love it. I love it.